Hi there, welcome to episode 28 of the Air Hug Community. Hey, welcome to the Air Hug Community. I am Judy Arizosa, your host, and I created the Air Hug Community to bring you stories from guests and myself that ultimately help improve the lives of others and boomerang back to improve your life. So we cover all sorts of topics like relationships and personal development, how you see the world, and just behaviors that actually affect yourself and others. So strap in, sit down, welcome, and thank you so much for joining in. Hey, welcome back. So I gotta let you guys know something. A lot of my frames of reference here on the podcast and in general when I talk about life experiences come from the trial and error that I experienced when raising 4 children. So the fact of the matter is I really missed my mother when I was raising my kids. She happened to pass away when my first 2 children were an infant and a toddler, and I often wanted to just call her up and ask her about the little things, like how do you get through XYZ? But since I didn't have that option, I basically had to figure things out as I went along. And one thing that I figured out and stuck with me was when I was doing religious family education. So here's the background story. So we really didn't want to drive our kids to 4 separate religious education classes every single week. And because it was just meant doing like 4 more things all at once. And so we opted to do a family religious education program. So we did it as a family, and it was kind of like homeschooling your kids for religious education, but we did it with other families, and we generally hosted it on a Sunday night in various homes. We would rotate. And so if we were hosting that month, we would provide dinner and we would have to teach the lesson. So when I was preparing to teach the lesson, when it was our month to host, I had to be able to have the youngest person in the room understand everything as well as the adults. And so I would always make an effort to teach to the youngest children in the families. So a funny thing happened when I did that. The adults would often remark at the end of our evening that my lessons were done in such a way that made them understand the topic even better than what they expected and better than what they remembered. So I've always taken this with me to never assume anything and take things to the simplest level as possible, as if there were young people in the room listening. So you know what? Our brain is a lot like that. Our brain wants us to keep things as simple as possible because when it comes down to it, our brain is lazy. So maybe we should just call it conservative, but lazy or conservative, either way, our brain wants to conserve brain power. So here's the thing. We can use our laziness to actually achieve our goals. We can use our laziness to our advantage to achieving our goals. So what gives with the lazy brain? It just wants the easy way out, okay? So the fact is that everyone has ability to do things. They have ability to see their goals through. They have ability to live according to their purpose or their why, or, lose that weight or get that promotion or whatever. But taking action comes down to mind games. So I don't know too much about promotions because I actually work for myself. So you can take that with a grain of salt on that one. But the fact is that our mind is emotionally immature. In fact, it has the maturity, nobody's going to want to hear this, but that of about a 6-year-old. Not kidding. So if we're using mental toughness as a necessity for habit change, it's going to be an interesting journey, don't you think? So it's all about emotional control. Now, if you've ever tried to convince a 6-year-old to do something they didn't want to do, it can be a pretty ugly situation, right? So if you're trying to work on controlling emotions, and controlling choices and behaviors, if you're trying to just like go in there bluntly and white knuckle it, it's not going to work. You have to make it as simple and easy and as appealing as possible. And so now imagine that your brain is that 6-year-old. You have to make it as easy and as simple and as appealing as possible. So, okay, that's great, you say, and I totally agree with you. How are we going to do that? Okay, stop fighting with your brain, okay? You cannot trust your brain to do the right thing if it's faced with temptations, all right? If you're relying on willpower or discipline, here's the thing. You will fail 100% over time. Yes, you might get results at the beginning, and people always love to say, when I did XYZ, I was in such good shape, and then I don't know what happened. Well, I can tell you what happened. What happened was they were relying on willpower or discipline, and it didn't last over time. So what we need to do is create a super simple system that appeals to our lazy brain. And there are 3 things that we can do to make our lazy brain cooperate with what we know we want deep down in our heart. So, number 1, make the desirable behavior super easy. And I'm going to give you number 2 right away, and then I'll go into some examples. Number 2, make the undesirable behavior super hard. Okay, so how do you make your desirable behavior super easy? If you desire to eat vegetables and not eat ice cream, get rid of the ice cream in your house. So, number 1, make the behavior easy. All right, make it, actually that's number 2, getting rid of, make the undesirable behavior hard. Make it very hard to reach for things like sweets and junk food if those are your triggers. All right, get rid of the ice cream or whatever it is that triggers you into eating too much more. All right. Now let's go back to making it easy, right? Make the desirable behavior easy. So for example, eating a half a plate of veggies at 2 meals is a desirable behavior. How do you make that easy? Well, here's an example, and I could give you a lot of examples, but you should come up with ones, or you can come up with ones that are going to work for you. But on nights when we are particularly tired and rushed, we designate that as an order in salad night. And so we happen to like a certain salad restaurant where we can pick our own salads and order. And here's the thing, order it in the morning or midday, definitely before noon, so that you're committed. And then you just simply pick it up at dinner time. All right. And by doing it early in the day when you're motivated and you are more apt to make good decisions, can go back to that episode on decision fatigue. I don't remember what number it is, but I'll put it. You can look it up. All right. Anyways. Okay, so my dogs are talking a lot in the background. So if you hear that little whining, they're just chatting. Pay no attention to them. Where was I? You want to make things easy. So make that decision early in the day and at least one night a week. Okay, great. It's going to be salad night from your favorite salad place. Okay. You can do things like stock your fridge, right? Make going to the grocery store fun and easy. Do it together. I love to do it with my spouse. And remember to remove those negative things from your environment. So just as a quick review, you're going to make the desirable behavior easy because your brain is lazy, and you're going to make the undesirable behavior hard so that your brain would have to go through extra steps to actually do that. Do you really want to get in the car and go for a drive to get ice cream, in the middle of winter? No, but if you've got that ice cream in your freezer, you may go ahead and eat it. Make the desirable behavior easy. Lay out your gym clothes for your early workout so it's the first thing you see after you brush your teeth. Or maybe you work out at the end of the day. Well, go ahead and put on something like your sports bra in your tank underneath your sweater for work, right? Or better yet, wear a pair of black leggings that you can cover with a tunic length sweater, and wear a pair of boots and nobody will know that those are your workout pants, right? All right. Number 3, and this is the last thing I want to talk about. Get yourself a trusted ally, right? Think of it as the opposite. Well, you can think of it as a partner in crime if you think of this as crime, but I like to think of it as a partner in success, okay? So I also like to call this a chief accountability officer and a chief encouragement officer. So basically what we're saying here is hire a coach who specializes in your life stage. Also, solicit the social support of a trusted friend, so you can text or call with that friend daily. Maybe that friend also needs support, so you can reciprocate and go back and forth. Maybe you're on this journey together. If your friends are not in alignment with what your desired behavior is, maybe you need to get new friends. No, I'm just kidding. Or maybe you can explain to them, hey, I really need some support on this. Can you just chat with me? And you can also use social media. There is someone who is very dear to me on social media who is on her healthy journey, and she has committed to posting periodically. And because I have seen the first few posts and commented on them, they're coming into my feed. So I always make it a point of commenting and encouraging her and congratulating her on making great choices that day. That goes a long way for fueling your inspiration to continue. So it's very easy. It's not easy. It's hard, but you can make it easy by making it easy on your brain. So this is such a brief thing, but can I tell you the impact of these 3 things is going to make a difference. And a lot of you are looking for ways to make a difference and just to get some wins, whatever your goals are. So make it easy for your brain to do the right thing, and make it hard for your brain to do the negative thing that might be a worn-in habit right now, and enlist the trust of an ally. Find a trusted ally, an accountability officer, an encouragement officer, also known as a coach. And then, pad it. In addition to that coach, get a friend to help you, and go ahead. If you're a social media person, share on social media. So I think I used the example in the last episode about my friend who wanted to quit smoking, and she told everyone that she knew she was going to do it. And that really actually helped her stick to her guns. So those were her accountability allies in that instance. So this was a quickie. I wanted to really drive this point home because so many people feel like a failure when they rely on willpower and discipline. And the fact is, you're not a failure. It's just that you're not simplifying it enough for your brain to do these actions consistently. And once you do that, and you get some small wins, and you keep it super simple, you can continue to see how things are going to move on. Now, there's no guaranteed outcomes, but if you at least practice the behaviors that are in alignment with your purpose and your goals, you're giving yourself a fighting chance. So I'd like to say thank you very much once again for listening today. It is always my pleasure to have you take your time and let me talk into your ear. And I want to thank you. So if this episode was beneficial to you, please do me a favor and grab a screenshot, text it to people who are important in your life, who you think could benefit from this, and of course, share it on your social media as well. I truly appreciate it. Check back here every Tuesday for new episodes. Okay, one more thing. It is always a pleasure to connect, so if you are interested in having a chat, drop me a DM on Instagram. You can follow me over at Judy Arazosa. I'm also Judy Arazosa on LinkedIn and Facebook, or you can just drop me an email at judy@judyarazosa.com. Okay, have a great week. Bye.